And happy to be welcomed by Dan Harrari, my good friend here from the HDA Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. Dan, thanks for joining me on UAP.
Sure. Hey, brother. How you doing? It's nice to
Great.
see you in person finally.
Yes, I know, right? All the times we've spoken online or Zoom meetings or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had you on the show and everything like that. So I'm glad to have you back on again at Contact in the Desert.
Thank you very much.
You and I were just talking about your story. And it was a story that we spoke about in depth on our episode together on UAP. So if you want the full in-depth version, you can check that one out. We spoke, I think, about a year ago on UAP.
A year or two, within the list.
Yeah, you gotta search through the archives. Just look for Dan Harari on UAP. But in the abridged version, we were talking about what happened to you when you were a kid. And I said to you just candidly before we started, so I'll say it here now too, that your story is one that sticks with me. I've spoken to a lot of people, I've done a lot of interviews. I've researched a lot of stories and covered a lot of stories. Your story from when you were a kid is one that still, to this day, sticks out to me.
That's so cool. I'm glad you said that.
It's incredible. It really is. And I even said to you that I think it should be a movie. So I'm talking about this very highly. So I'll let you give the details of the story now. Sure. If anybody hasn't heard Dan Harari's incredible story.
Sure, thanks, man. I mean, I'll give you the abridged version. The abridged version is, in March 1970, I was 13 years old. And I grew up in suburban New Jersey near Asbury Park. And everyone knows Asbury Park. That's where Bruce Springsteen came from. So one day, March 1970, I'm 13 years old. My father picked me up from school and drove me home from school. It's probably about 3 p.m. We're in my father's car. My father's driving, obviously. I'm in the passenger seat. We're talking. As we're driving down my street where I grew up, a huge silver V. I'll do this with my hands like here. This is my father's car. A huge silver V just showed up. I didn't see it arrive. It just was there. And it was hovering above my father's car, maybe 200 feet in the air, 300 feet maybe. Pretty low. Huge silver V, shiny silver V. Sharp tips, no propellers, no wings, no smoke, no sound, okay? It's just hovering over my father's car.
Amazing.
And it's following the car, like this. It's just following the car. So I saw it through the windshield, and I said, Dad, stop the car. Dad, stop the car. There's a UFO. Dad, there's a UFO. So my father stopped the car. We got out. I stood here. My dad stood here, and here's the V. And I'm pretty sure I said, Dad, look, it's Star Trek. Dad, it's Star Trek. And remember, I'm jumping up and down. Like if you and I, Steve, saw this, we would be like,
sure.
We'd be like, oh, this is the greatest thing we've ever seen.
Of course,
seen.
Yeah.
My father looked at it like, wow.
Just another day, huh?
Bored to tears.
Wow.
He looked at, it's like a pyramid from Egypt is in this sky. Couldn't care less, no interest, with no expression.
Unbelievable.
He's looking at his shoes, he's looking at his car, I should get the car washed. And I'm like, Dad, Dad, look, right? Maybe 3 minutes of this. It's because the V stopped. When we stopped, the V stopped. So clearly, it had something to do, in my heart, I believe it had something to do with my father, and we'll get to that part later. But I think it was like a hello to my father, okay?
Yeah.
3 minutes, we're looking at this thing. I'm thrilled. I have like tears in my eyes. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. My father goes, come on, kid. He's bored. Come on, kid, let's go home. Who would say that? Come on, kid, let's go home. Don't you want to watch this the whole time it's there?
Right.
Wouldn't you want to see every second of this phenomenon from Mars, wherever, right? Okay, we get in the car. He drives home. And I more recently remembered when we drove home, I just remember this maybe last year. The V then resumed following us for maybe another block, and then the V slowly went away, and then it sort of just went off into the distance. We come home. I'm 13, 1970. Rotary phone in my kitchen. Rotary phone. I called the Asbury Park Press, my hometown newspaper. Hi, my name is Danny. I'm 13. I just saw a UFO with my dad. And the lady said, Sonny, we're getting hundreds of phone calls about this right now.
So you weren't the only one.
I swear this is true. We're getting hundreds of phone calls about this. I can't talk to you right now. I gotta go.
Wow.
The lady hung up on me. We got the paper. I checked the paper every day for that week, and no article ever ran. Nothing ran. Okay. Now, also what's interesting is that day and the next days, my dad and I never talked about it.
Wow.
And we didn't tell my mother. We didn't tell my 2 younger brothers. I didn't tell my friend. Why? I don't know. I'm not sure why. Okay, so that was March 1970. I forgot that happened for 47 years, which is a long time, right?
Yeah.
What happened 47 years later? April 2017, my father died in Florida with his second wife, bad death. April 2017, I was in LA. About 3 days, I'm pretty sure it was 3 days after he died, I went to a local deli in LA near UCLA to get a pastrami sandwich in my father's honor, because he loved pastrami sandwich. I went to get a sandwich and to just be sad about my father. So I went to this deli, I ordered my sandwich, the waiter walked away, and then I swear as God is my witness, I just was sitting there being sad about my father. A beam of energy from my right side came through the sky, air, the sky, the ceiling, and it hit me in the head with like knuckles. It was like bang, hard, bang. It hit me, my head. I felt it. And then projected through my eyes in the air about, 10 inches maybe, 10 inches? Like this, perfectly square rectangle, was the 1970 UFO home movie. From 47 years earlier. It played in the air, 3D color hologram with sound.
Like your memory playing in front of you.
It was like, but better than that, Stephen, because I was in it.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't from my point of view. I was in this little movie. It was like God took the movie. Now, do you know what the Akashic records are?
Sure.
More recently, I've found out about that. I really do think what I was shown was when it was like from my life, it was an Akashic record.
Wow.
So in this movie, in the air, in the deli, is the car, my father's car, me and my dad, the V, and it's shot from a little bit of a distance. It's like God.
It's amazing.
It's like God with Cecil B. DeMille, you know.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Yes? He's like, action, action. So I'm watching it, and in this little video, I'm jumping up and down, and I'm saying, Dad, it's Star Trek, it's Star Trek. I'm watching me from 47 years ago like this. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, my hands are shaking, my heart's beating fast, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember that, right? The killer part is, this time in the little movie, my dad looked down at me, he winked at me, and then he said, come on, kid, let's go home. Now, I didn't remember the wink. Now, think about that. My father winked at me, having been bored. He's seeing this thing, and then he's bored, and then he winks at me, right?
And that's really interesting, because what you just said there, you didn't remember the wink. Meaning, if it's playing from your memory, how could you be seeing something from your memory that you don't remember?
Yeah, it's a very... No, it wasn't from my memory, honestly.
Right.
God.
It was something else.
If it's something from your memory, you wouldn't be in the movie.
Right, exactly right. Yeah.
Right? You'd see the other things.
Right.
But I saw me. I saw little Danny, 13-year-old.
It's amazing.
Okay, so he winked at me, and then, so this thing played for maybe 30 seconds. 3D color hologram with audio, perfect rectangle. Like high def, right?
Yeah.
In the air, and then after 30 seconds, it's just like pixelated, gone. Now I'm shaking. And I'm thinking, what the hell was that? And I remembered it right away. It was like the world was saying, Dan, remember this? Like, hello. Now, here's the second part of that story. After it pixelated went away, I heard in my right ear, get a pen, get a pen, get a pen, get a pen, get a pen. You need a pen, you need a pen. I asked the waiter for a pen. There was a paper placemat on the table. My hand did automatic writing, which I've never done before or since. And my hand wrote 3 lines. Write a book about benevolent aliens. Lead character's father knew about UFOs. And then I wrote capital A, capital T, capital C. My hand, not me. And I swear this wasn't me, because I'm watching my hand move, right? And then my hand stopped, and I went down like this. Now I have this piece of paper. I'm like, what the hell's happening? I just want my pastrami sandwich.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm shaking, I'm looking. Write a book about benevolent aliens. I go, well, I guess I have to write a book, right? Lead character's father knew about UFOs. My father died 3 days before. My father worked for the Army.
That's right.
Okay.
There's the twist, by the way. I was waiting for that part.
And then we'll get to a little bit more about that. But lead character, so I guess I'm the lead character, father. So that was my father who died 3 days ago. Knew about UFOs. Now, why would I have written that, right? And then ATC, I'm looking, and I came up with After They Came. AT, that's the name of my book. As you know.
That's right, yes.
Then I finally get my pastrami sandwich. I inhaled it in 2 seconds. I'm like, gotta get home. And I went home and I wrote that book from April 2017 to April 2018. It took me a year to write my book. In that year to write the book, I started to think, who was my father? Right? Now, what we knew about my father was he worked for the U.S. Army at a place called Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, in Belmar, New Jersey, one town south of Asbury Park. He was there from 1951 to 1996, 45 years.
Yeah, it's important because you think about everything that could have gone on there in that area, and just also thinking about where the drones are in New Jersey as well. So just throwing that out there.
And that's very cool that you said drones, because I'll tell you why in a second. So my father worked there for 45 years. He was a physicist and an electronics engineer. He was a civilian, he was not military. My father worked, here's what we knew of my father, my mother and my brothers. We knew he worked for the Army at this base, and he invented missile systems and radar systems.
Wow.
Okay. Well, what nobody knew, so after my father died, I researched my father and his workplace, and I found, this is so cool, about a month after my father died, I found a paper he had given me in 1985. It was a profile of my dad from his workplace. I'd never read it. I didn't know I had it. It was in one of my scrapbooks. I'd never read it. My father invented drones.
There you go.
That's the twist. How about that, you guys? My father invented drones. I'm sure there was teams of people.
Sure.
But he was in the earliest, I know he was. And he even told me when I was 10, I think, you know, Danny, I invented drones. I'm like, can we get ice cream?
Yeah, right.
What are you talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, so.
Incredible.
My father invented drones. I have proof on paper from his work. I have proof, okay? He worked for top secret Army base. He never told my mother what he did really for a living. He used to go to the Pentagon often. When I was a kid, Mom, where's Dad? I was at the Pentagon. He gave speeches at the Pentagon. Once when I was little, I remember in the car, my father said, you know, I wrote a report that President Kennedy read. I'm like, really, Dad? Do you know President Kennedy? No, I don't know him, but I heard that he read one of my reports.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That's awesome, yeah.
How many people's dads did
Right.
that, right? That was pretty cool. Okay, so now these clues are coming. Now here comes some of the really killer clues. I called my mother after my father died. They had been divorced for a while. Mom, did Dad ever talk about UFOs? Because everything my dad did had to do with the sky, right? My father spied on Russia and North Vietnam and China, whatever. My father did missiles, radar systems, and drones. What do they have in common? The sky. How could my father not know about UFOs? Think about it. It's not possible. It's not credible. After he died, I called my mom. Did Dad ever say anything about you? And she told me a story I'd never heard in my life. She said, when your father was at the base in the early 50s, this is such a great story. They took your father deep into the vaults one day at the Army base. They showed him something. He came home. My mother said my father was shaking and pale and really upset. And my mother said, honey, what's wrong? And my father said, I saw something today in the vault. It's above top secret, and I can never tell you or anyone as long as I live. And my father never did. He never told a soul. Never told one person ever. What could, and then my mother goes, your father was never the same after that day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What could he have seen? Think about it, that he was never the same. It had to be a craft.
Right.
Or a chunk of some kind of alien technology, or an alien living or dead. I personally think it was some chunk of alien technology. My father was a physicist. He was all about how things worked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a major clue, okay? Major clue. Next major clue, in Richard Dolan's book, USOs in the National Security State. In fact, I just introduced him an hour ago.
That's right.
And in fact, I even said this when I introduced him. In the back of that book is a glossary of U.S. military UFO incidents, a glossary by date and location. In 1951 and 1952, in Richard's book, UFOs over Fort Monmouth, New Jersey. My dad started there in 1951. So even if he wasn't outside and saw them,
right,
he was in the radar branch.
It happened, yeah.
He had to have heard that there was UFOs above his workplace in
Right.
1951, 1952. Okay. Here's the last incredible clue. This is the one.
I love it.
This is the one that puts it really over the top. 2 years ago, Stephen Greer did a 3-hour press conference at the Washington Press Club.
That's right.
Dr. Stephen Greer. And he had a chart, and I have a big TV, we all have big TV, so he had a chart of 150 U.S. military bases that he had proof of through his whistleblower network. This is so cool, that worked on reverse engineering of recovered UFO craft. Okay, so it's 150 names of installations. I freeze framed my TV, I freeze framed it. I got off the couch and I started with number 1 and I went with my finger like this. And number 51 is Fort Monmouth, New Jersey.
There you go.
And I think I almost cried. And
Yeah.
I called my mother. I said, Mom, I got it now. I have it. This is it. I know. Now I know. My father worked in reverse engineering of UFO craft. When we saw the craft in 1970 and he was bored, he'd seen it before.
He's seen it.
He knew what it was. If he hadn't worked on it,
He might have actually worked on it, yeah.
he could have worked on it. He used to go to White Sands all the time. That's another thing I
Wow.
never knew. My mother said he went to White Sands all the. I never knew that when he was alive. No one ever told me. My father knew what it was. He was familiar with it. He was bored. He winked at me, right? Now we come to that little movie. That movie happened 3 days after my father died. And he and I were close, right? And I was very upset when he died. I believe in my heart, my father was in heaven, and he sent me that download.
Yes.
And what was my father saying to me? He said, Danny, remember that UFO that we saw 47 years ago? I knew what that was. That was one of my projects. I couldn't tell you because I couldn't, but I'm dead now. I'm on the other side, and I want you to know. It was my father's, it was a parting gift from my father.
Yeah.
From heaven. And I really, truly believe that to be true.
And now you know why I said what I said at the beginning. It's an incredible story. It sticks with me. I want to see, I'm watching it in my head as you're saying it. I mean, this really should be, I hope you can get into a movie one day because
Thank you.
it's
Me
incredible.
too, man. I'm working on it. I really am.
Before we go, real quick about Hollywood Disclosure Alliance, the WOW signal,
Yeah.
those couple of things before we go.
Sure. Okay. Well, first of all, it's so cool that you came. So we're at Contact in the Desert 2025 right now in Indian Wells, beautiful Indian Wells.
Amazing.
This is the 11th annual year. I'm the head of PR for this conference, and I'm so glad you made it down.
Yeah, me too.
And we have literally 65, I think it is, the top UAP researchers in the world are all under one roof at the same time, so that's very cool.
It's nuts.
That's number 1. Number 2 is you are a member of a group Steve Bassett and I created 2 years ago called the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. If you're interested, HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org. Go there, HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org. Go there. It is a networking group of 2 disparate groups of people that Steve Bassett and I have blended. I call it chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah.
One group are UAP experiencers, researchers, disclosure advocates. The other group are Hollywood writers, producers, directors. We have live events every quarter in LA, and we have a 24/7 chat room. And then we have, these events like Contact and Conscious Life Expo or other little alien we go to conventions. So these 2 disparate groups can interact with each other because and Hollywood just means the global entertainment industry. And
Right.
It also includes documentaries. There are a lot of documentary filmmakers are in our group.
Yes, yeah. It's awesome.
So if you're a documentarian and you want to say, I want to make a movie about women who have been abducted and impregnated by extraterrestrials and had hybrid children. Well, I know 3 personally. I do. I know 3 women who are on the UAP experiencer side. So it's a networking of people with incredible stories, plus people who have the talent and the ability to get a story on the screen. That's what HDA is.
It's so cool, and it's such a great idea, and I'm glad you guys did it. I'm happy to be a part of it. And then the WOW signal, this is something you just started, like a few months ago?
The WOW signal, so when I created HDA with Stephen 2 years ago, I thought because I've been a Hollywood, I've been a Hollywood publicist for 41 years. I have my own PR firm for 30 years. I was thinking with my PR hat, there's no news source, single news source to go every single day. What's the latest news from ufologists, right? Now, look, it's not the New York Times, it's not the Debrief, right? It's not News Nation. But I created something called the wowsignal.news. The wowsignal.news.
So cool.
My daughter and I created it in mid-March. We get press releases from all over the world from ufologists. And every Monday at the wowsignal.news, we have news for the week. We usually have about 8 to 10 stories on Mondays. And then Thursday of that same week, we then cut and paste and put it into a newsletter. And we have 700,000 emails, which
That's awesome.
I'm going to shoot for 1 million. I really am.
Yeah, good.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Steve Bassett goes, no one has 1 million. I go, I'm gonna do 1 million. And then that goes around the world. 2 weeks ago, MUFON blessed the Wow Signal newsletter. How cool is that?
Very nice.
So in addition to my daughter sending it out to our list, MUFON sends it to their list. And then we have different media partners. We have the UNX network. We have the International UFO Bureau. We have UFO TV. We have other media partners. We run their news for them. They send out our newsletter to their list. It's all barter, right? It's all barter. No money changes hands. And we're just all, my line is we're all in the same boat and we're all rowing toward disclosure. We all want the world just to, my mother, this is my mother. She said, Danny, it's enough with the aliens. It's enough already, right? My mother's 91. God bless her.
God bless.
I would like my mother to live to see the day when extraterrestrial life, even if they don't land in Times Square.
Yeah.
But it's revealed, yes, this is true. This has always been true. My mother, I hope I live to see disclosure. I go, Mom, me too.
Yeah, right, me too.
I hope I live to see disclosure. So, Contact in the Desert, HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org, thewowsignal.news. Check all those out. Thanks, brother, for being here. It's so great to meet you in person.
Yes, likewise. I love it.
This is super fun. I always like talking to you.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you, Dan. It's great.
Thanks, man.
Love it. Thanks for coming on UAP.
Okay.
See you guys later.